abuse bottle. Even though it don't do me, even do my body. Even though it don't buy me, you don't buy somebody. Even though you never, even though you want to, never get no bother. Big old wound to you. Even though you didn't know, now you know. Drug abuse bottle. You didn't know, now you know. Drug abuse bottle.
I can stop it.
Rock go shot in my life. I can't stop it. If I sit down, they do nothing. I can't leave it alive. I know go wait until he wound me. I know go wait until he buy me. I cannot up what I make a drop soon to me. Even though something must to kill a man. I cannot up what I let them kill me. I go stand up, I go look for professional help. I can't stop it. Only know. Water, I can't leave it all alive.
I am tired already.
I can't stop it.
My head deep on and I don't get it. I know one's got water, I go fight it. Colorado, Arizona, I can't leave it. As you see me so trauma, download in my pocket. It killing me so and I don't want to keep bucket. Just the other day, or me got to socket. Now we take kill more trauma with in my pocket. My brother forget to drugs go shut in your life. Fight it, no they sit down, they do nothing. I cannot open eye, make it drugs to wound me. Even though something must to kill a man. I cannot open eye, make drugs kill me. I go stand up and go look for professional help.
Drugs get young, you say what if you don't know. Send out to ref not from my dog. Drugs get young, you say what if you don't know. The brother man used to tell a brother, one that hard drugs can kill a brother. Save your soul, one that malife, cause if he wound you, he got malife. I know that I'm tempted to light it, but I believe I can fight it. In name of Semoga about rehab. I'm going there not just to please her, but to heal me and to help me. Trauma, coding, ref. I believe I can stop it for life.
I know go wait until he wound me. I know go wait until he buy me. I cannot up what I make a drop soon to me. Even though something must to kill a man. I cannot up what I let them kill me. I go stand up, I go look for professional help.
same class being sent to Saudi Arabia. A notorious drug kingpin, Ajet Sibo Emami, popularly known as Warri Kingsman, was on Saturday, 28 June, arrested in Ikeja, Lagos, after NDLEA operatives dismantled his drug trafficking network in a 3-day operation, leading to the arrest of 3 other suspects. Recovered from Emami's network were 24 jumbo bags containing 681 pouches of Canadian loud, a strain of cannabis weighing 414.2 kilograms. The bust of Emami's drug ring followed credible intelligence on his attempt to move the shipment to Lekki area of Lagos, from where it will be distributed to other parts of the state and across the country. A businessman, Aja Johnson Uchena, and his wife, Rosemary Uchena, along with their 2 daughters, Stella Uchena and Ngozi Uchena, as well as their family friend, Okoro Elijah, have been taken into custody after investigation revealed that they run a major illicit drug distribution network in Lagos. The couple was first arrested on Friday, 13th June, by operatives of the Department of State Security (DSS) in Ojo area of the state and transferred to NDLEA along with 277.5 kilograms skunk. While they were still being investigated in custody, credible intelligence revealed that the family business was going on in his house. This led to a raid of their home and a packaging store where 231 kilograms of same substance was recovered on Tuesday, 1st July. 3 persons arrested during the raid include their 2 daughters, Ngozi Uchena and Blessing Uchena, as well as their family friend, Okoro Elijah, who were running the family business in the absence of the couple. Meanwhile, NDLEA operatives at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport, MMIA, Ikeja, Lagos, on Wednesday, 2nd July, intercepted a frequent flyer, Abu Remy Hisense, who specializes in conveying goods for customers from Nigeria to Italy and vice versa. He was found to have hidden 7,660 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams, and 200 milligrams inside food items packed among other goods he was conveying to Italy. He claimed he was to be paid the sum of €800 upon successful delivery of the truck consignment in Italy. A total of 52 pieces of the traveler's checks concealed in children's book worth 17,700,000 Australian dollars going to Malaysia through Istanbul on a Turkish Airlines flight were on Friday, 4th July, intercepted by NDLEA operatives at the export shed of the airport, while a freight agent, Bolan Riwa Sahid, has been arrested. The traveler's checks suspected to be counterfeit, and the suspects will be transferred to the Economic EFC. 4,175 kilograms of skunk were destroyed on 9.67 hectares of cannabis farmland at Ikaka, Okeila Forest, Osun State, when NDLEA operatives raided the area where 7 suspects, Bumi Adedapo, Adebisi Kaka Okeila Forest, Osun State, when NDLEA operatives raided the area where 7 suspects, Umi Adedapo, Adebisi Sadiq, Babatunde Gani, John Sunday, Israel Odabe, Solomon Odabe, and Prosper Odabe were arrested on Thursday, 3rd July. In Borno, recovered at Gamboru Ngala, while a total of 452 kilograms of same psychoactive substance was seized at Gadar Tambarawa along Zaria Kano Road with 2 suspects, Nasuru Saleh and Mustafa Mohammed, arrested in connection with the seizure on Thursday, 3rd July. While NDLEA operatives on patrol along Abuja-Kaduna Expressway recovered 11,000 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams, from Sule Ibrahim Sadiq. On Thursday, 3rd July, their counterpart in Sokoto arrested 62-year-old Joseph Onungene in connection with the seizure of 4,800 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams. In Kebbi State, operatives raided back in Kasuwa Yari base, where they seized 312 kilograms skunk and 10,000 tabs of diazepam. The duo of Chigbo Okolo and Ishako Musa were on Saturday, 5th July, arrested with 49,930 capsules of tramadol at Malum Ardo Kola local council area of Taraba State. In Edo State, NDLEA operatives raided the Ewere Forest in Owen West local government area, where they arrested a wanted suspect, Alaba Monday, in one of his cannabis farms with 115 kilograms of processed skunk, while 3 other suspects, Shamsu Abdullahi, Peter Egboko, and Justin John, were nabbed in another farm measuring 2.050201 hectares. A 78-year-old suspect, Mike Abeng, was arrested with 14.49 kilograms skunk and tramadol during a raid by NDLEA operatives at Ofudoa, Obubra local government area, Cross River State. Others nabbed with different quantities of illicit substances during the operation include Oyom Akam, Sylvester Odem, and Moses Ayo, apprehended at Ovonum, Obubra local government area. While commending the officers and men of the Directorate of Operations and General Investigation, DOGI, Murtala Muhammad International Airport, MMIA, Lagos, Seme, Kogi, Oshun, Borno, Kano, Edo, Kaduna, Cross River, Kebbi, and Taraba commands of the agency for the arrest and seizures of the past week, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Mara, retired, praised their counterparts in all the commands across the country for ensuring a fair balance between their drug supply reduction and drug demand reduction efforts. That is it on arrest and seizures. Next is the update on some of the weather activities across the country for the week, brought to you by my colleague, Peace.
Thank you, Netta. My name is Peace Dipas, and here are some of the weather activities across the country for the week. In a decisive and unwavering effort to tackle the critical issue of drug abuse, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is advancing its mission through the impactful War Against Drug Abuse Water social advocacy campaign. This comprehensive initiative underscores the importance of inclusivity and collective action, actively mobilizing every segment of society. Raising awareness and implementing preventive measures in schools, marketplaces, motor parks, and places of worship, the NDLEA is not merely sending a message. It is at the forefront of a powerful movement driven by grassroots participation and shared responsibility, united by one clear goal: a drug-free Nigeria. In line with this, on Monday, 30th June 2025, the Kano State Strategic Command amplified its grassroots drug prevention drive by The session focused on equipping the youth with knowledge about the dangers of substance abuse and encouraging them to make informed, healthy lifestyle choices that support academic and personal success. In a strategic effort to enhance traditional leadership engagement, the Delta Port Command of the agency, in collaboration with His Royal Majesty Kingsley Orere Igbi II, the Oba of Agbara Wari, took the water advocacy campaign to Agbara Primary School, Agbara Wari. The lecture inspired both pupils and staff, emphasizing cultural values, early education, and community engagement in the fight against drug abuse. On Tuesday, 1st July 2025, the Katsina State Command deepened its outreach efforts with a WADA sensitization lecture at our Fulkan College, Kankia. Students were educated on psychological and social impacts of drug abuse and were encouraged to lead by example in their schools and communities as change agents for a drug-free society. On the same day, the Ebonyi State Command delivered a compelling WADA advocacy session to students and staff of Community Secondary School in the Uruka Amegu. The lecture highlighted the moral, academic, and societal risk of drug misuse while motivating students to embrace discipline, self-awareness, and collective responsibility. On Wednesday, 2nd July, the Sokoto State Command further advanced its drug education campaign through a WADA sensitization lecture at Government Day Secondary School, Ilela. The interactive session stressed the importance of early prevention and responsible peer influence in resisting drug temptation. Meanwhile, the Niger State Command continued its awareness effort with an enlightenment WADA session at Government Day Secondary School, Auna. The presentation challenged students to understand the real-life consequences of substance abuse and commit to a lifestyle of integrity and sound decision-making. On Thursday, 3rd July, the Borno State Command brought the WADA Enlightenment Campaign to residents of Gumari Binta Sugar community in Maiduguri. The community-focused session addressed the realities of drug abuse in both urban and conflict-affected areas, encouraging residents to foster unity and resilience against drug-related threats. Similarly, the Enugu State Command engaged students and staff of Queen of Angels Secondary School, Ingvidi Agu, with an impactful WADA sensitization lecture. The session reinforced the importance of personal values, academic discipline, and peer mentorship in building a generation free from drug dependency. Advancing the day's advocacy initiatives, the Gombe State Command, in partnership with the NYSC Drug Free Club, delivered a WADA advocacy lecture to students of Kaltungo Junior Secondary School, Kaltungo. The event empowered students with the tools to identify and avoid drug risk and to become peer advocates for healthy drug-free living. In like manner, the Zone 4 Command successfully conducted a WADA awareness lecture at Fortunate Child Schools in Lafia, Nasarawa State. Students were taught life skills to resist peer pressure and promote positive behavioral change in their academic environment. On Friday, 4th July 2025, the Lagos State Strategic Command concluded the week's advocacy activities with an impactful WADA sensitization lecture at Divine Purpose College in Eyita, Ikorodu. The session empowered students with essential insight into the long-term consequences of drug abuse, urging them to take charge as champions of awareness and discipline in their schools and communities. That's the update for this week. My name is Peace, and I hand you over to our host, Mr. Femi Babafemi.
All right, thank you very much there, Peace and Netta. Welcome back from the news highlights segment. Now let's remind ourselves about some of the rules guiding our process of engagement on this program today. Please note that in a matter of seconds, our guest speaker would be formally introduced, and then he takes his session. Please note that while he's delivering his when he's making his presentation, please note that if we approve you to be on the speaker's corner, ensure that you remain muted until after his presentation, and then we start inviting individuals to unmute themselves, make contributions or ask questions. Please let's do this in an orderly manner so that we can continue to enjoy the interaction and this conversation. Now, quickly, let's tell you about the agency's call center. That's where we have quite a number of our professionals talking about counselors, clinical psychologists, psychotherapists, and psychiatric doctors working 24/7 every day of the week, round the clock, to take calls via our toll-free helpline 0800 10 20 30 40. Our toll-free helpline at the center again is 0800 1020 3040. There, we provide psychosocial support services and teletherapy for those who may be struggling with substance abuse from in any part of the country, their family members, their friends, can call this toll-free helpline, and there you have our experts talking with you and helping you, offering you support and counseling you on how to get over this menace. Another thing about this center is you are not paying for the call. It's totally free. The bill is on us. So it's a toll-free helpline. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to be afraid of not getting enough credit before you make the call. As you dial the number, rest assured that you are not incurring any cost. Apart from that, the services at the center also, the center is also language sensitive, language friendly, meaning that if you cannot speak any of the three, if you cannot speak English or even Pidgin English, at the center, our experts there can attend to you in any of the three major Nigerian languages of Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. This is to deepen the engagement, the services provided at this center, right, cascade it down to the grassroots and the communities so that nobody will have an excuse of not actually seeking for help when indeed they need help. That on our call center. Now let's introduce to you formally. Let's invite our guest speaker to come on the speaker's corner now so that we can take his presentation. But first, let's introduce him formally. Indeed, he's David Moses Olofu, who is a public health advocate, a media producer, and programs officer with the Drug Harm Reduction Advocacy Network Nigeria. Indeed, David leads frontline advocacy for humane drug policy reform, working with organizations like Frontline AIDS and the International Drug Policy Consortium. He is a member of Nigeria's National Technical Working Group on Harm Reduction and Drug Demand Reduction. David plays a key role in shaping national responses to drug use. He is also the founder of Olufusan Media, where he produces impactful content on drug awareness, youth empowerment, and public health. In recognition of his work, he received an award of excellence from the Gombe State Command of the NDLA. David brings lived experience, strategic insight, and a strong media voice to his mission of advancing the rights and dignity of people who use drugs. I know I've seen David on the platform. Let's invite him to please take a seat on the speaker's corner so that he can make his presentation now. All right, pending while David migrates from the listener's corner where he's currently to the speaker's corner, let's quickly recognize some of our compatriots already on the space. I would like to appreciate Dr. James Komolafe. Dr. James Komolafe, thank you. It's nice seeing you here again. We also have an old member of this platform, that's John Ogunjimi. John, quite a while. It's nice seeing you back on this platform again. Thank you very much for being part of the conversation today. We have another regular member, that's Fodio Ahmed, popularly known as One Pen. One Pen, thank you for joining the conversation today. Beside Fodio, we also have Femi Ladiran. Thank you, Femi Ladiran, for being part of the conversation today. We also have Pauline X, Senator Obina Ayinkame. I pray I got that right. Thank you very much, Senator Obina. We have the Black Race, Prince Isaac, Funsho Jimo. These are regular members of the platform. Anna Innocent Igbogridi. I pray I got that right also. Ufon Paul, Cedar Foundation, pharmacist Ikena Ugu John. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. We also have Soil Whisperer NG. Soil Whisperer NG is a regular member of this platform. We also have Ibrahim Ibrahim Ahmadija. Thank you, Ibrahim, for being part of the conversation today. We also have Nuruddin Akewusola. Thank you. Michelle Ofoyeju, that's our commander in Edo State. Thank you, Michelle, for being part of the conversation today. Grassroots Center, thank you. Evidence Grace, thank you. Evidence for being part of the conversation. Let's park the recognition here. We also appreciate all of those joining us via our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. At this point, I had already introduced our guest speaker, who is now on the speaker's corner. Please join me in welcoming David Moses Olofu as I invite him to unmute himself now while we listen to him spend the next 30 minutes discuss our topic for today, that is understanding harm reduction and the impact of lived experience narrative in drug demand reduction. Please go ahead, David. Thank you. Yeah, you are still muted, David. You need to unmute yourself if you can hear me. Yeah, David is muted. You need to unmute yourself. I hope you are not struggling with your network. I pray so. If David is having that, if it's a network problem, then I may have to ask Francis to connect with him directly so that he can speak via your handle. All right. Once again, let's quickly run through reappraise or present fresh David again. Like I did say, David is a public health advocate. He's a media producer and programs officer with the Drug Harm Reduction Advocacy Network Nigeria. He leads frontline advocacy for humane drug policy reform. He works with organizations like Frontline AIDS and the International Drug Policy Consortium. In addition to that, he's a member of Nigeria's National Technical Working Group on Harm Reduction and Drug Demand Reduction. David plays a role in shaping national responses to drug use. He's also the founder of Olufusan Media, where he produces content, impactful content on drug awareness, youth empowerment, and public health. In recognition of his work, our Gombe State Command some time ago gave him an award of excellence. David brings lived experience, strategic insight, and a strong media voice to his mission of advancing rights and dignity of people who use drugs. Once again, join me in welcoming David. Please unmute yourself and let's see if we can hear you now. You are still muted. I guess it has to do with your network. But Francis, please connect with David and let him speak through you. It's one of those things you encounter that is beyond your control when you have guests that are not in a location where the network is that good, and even sometimes right from our office here, we do have some glitches sometimes in the course of the program, but then it's something we have to quickly wrap our head around and get work around it. Okay, let me ask for just 1 minute music interlude, and then we'll come back and see how we can talk to David directly via my colleague's line. All right, so let's have 1 minute music interlude, and we'll be right back while we talk about technical.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. It concerns you. You dey kill law, you dey kill dreams. You dey land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Hello, doctor. Can I get the tramadol for the road? Body they pay me
to make I check your body, then I will tell you where you need.
Hello, doctor. I know it's the way to. I know it's the way to.
Where to make I check your body, then I go tell you where you need.
Hello, doctor. No need to check me. I know say now waiting my body need. Is it your body? I don't feel wait. I don't feel wait. Hello, doctor. You see, I am coughing. I need codeine or I go enter coughing.
Where to make I check your body,
I don't feel to wait.
You need.
Give me cannabis or sensimilla, please. I need to end this feeling.
Where to make I check your body, then I will tell you where you need.
Hello, doctor, waiting I do myself. I've been known to say, but I didn't want somebody.
Where to make I check your body, then I will tell you where you need.
Doctor, help me check my body. I need your help before it's too late. Hi. Gutter water handle you go just die throw away. Money handle you go just die throw away. Ecstasy handle you go just die throw away. Money handle you go just die throw away. Drama handle you go just die throw away. Money handle you go just die throw away. When cocaine handle you and codeine handle you money handle you go just die throw away. When Black Mamba handle you and Ref not show you shake it. When he handle you go just die throw away. Oh no, drama handle wait until them handle you. When he handle you go just die throw away. Paradise, Crystal Metal. When them handle you go just die throw away. Wherever,
However,
because, and no matter,
whatever,
because don't do, it is sweet to you, but jejely, silent killer, funny, know they look face, you know they look face, give yourself a break, we don't want you, don't do, if you
whatever. People don't do drugs.
If anybody give you banana, sky, if sugar daddy give you cocaine, run, give you skunk, give you loud, tell you say na one drag, chase, that's how you take start, oh, hey, what's in my eyes don't see. Simba, oh, what you cool, Simba, oh. No be say, I know they hear when them say, make I stop. Hey, I know if it stop. I swear I want to stop. Somebody help me stop. If anybody give you banana, sky, hey, whether na school she, oh, Simba, oh, what you cool, Simba, oh.
All right, thank you very much. David, can you hear me now?
Yes, crystal clear. Can you hear me on this end?
Okay, yeah, this is better now. Okay, we've wasted a lot of time trying to get connectivity with you, but so now please go ahead. Let's listen to your presentation for the next couple of minutes. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Femi Babafemi, the Public Relations Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. I sincerely appreciate this great privilege and honor to be here as guest speaker and to even speak on this very important topic. I acknowledge everyone who is following at this point in time. I want to inform the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency that the whole of my family are listening because they were with me throughout my journey and they are still with me. This is how important this is to me. So, harm reduction. Harm reduction cannot be understood if you don't know exactly the issue that Nigeria is having when it comes to the issue of drug use. Now, according to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, UNODC, in 2018, about 14.4 million Nigerians from the age of 15 to 64 have used one psychoactive substance or the other. And that is an alarming statistics or figure if you take a close look at it. I listened closely to the Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba, retired, when he was reading out the statistics. He said that is the population of some African countries, about 3 to 4 African countries combined together, which tells you that this is an alarming case that needs to be paid close attention to. And this is just the figure that has been officially collated since 2018. Now we're in 2025, and the UNODC are still preparing to carry out another survey. We may have another staggering figure staring us in the face. Now, that being said, harm reduction cannot be appreciated if you don't know who I am and how I dabbled into the issue of drug use. Now, I didn't have an easy childhood. My childhood was marred with all sorts of things. I started hawking banana at a very young age for the family, and just to help out in my little way. And I was hawking banana and I was schooling at the same time. So I was attending government secondary school. So when I go in the daytime, we do run shift from morning shift to evening shift. If I go in the daytime, morning shift closes by 12. I come back and I go to, from 1, 2, 3 down to 6 before I come. And then if I'm in afternoon shift, I go in the morning to work before I come. So there were all sorts of pressure that was on me as a result of that experience. I traveled on foot from Nasarawa in Kaduna State to Kakuri just to make my sales and then come back. And that was where my school was located. My school happens to be a school where it is pure male students. So there are all sorts of influences. There are already youths who are already doing drugs, who sometimes run away from school and hang out in uncompleted buildings to do drugs. And before I know, as a result of peer pressure and other factors, I found myself, it started as just taking a test or experimenting to see how this thing feels like. And over time, you now discover that, oh, I've already become dependent. I'm already hooked on this thing. And then by then, it's too late. And if you don't get help, which is where harm reduction comes in, if you don't get help early, it is really going to destroy your life, like it has destroyed so many people before now. Now, I read early from Miles Monroe that the most wealthiest place on earth is not the oil wells in Saudi Arabia or the gold mines in South Africa or the diamond mine in Sierra Leone, another part of the continent. But the wealthiest place is the cemetery. Now, the cemetery is the wealthiest place because that is where people who go down there without bringing to the world what they have, what they were meant to come and do on the earth. Some of those people just die with their dreams, die with their vision, die with their goals, die with their invention, die with all sorts of things as a result of this untapped potential. And many drug users or many people have been found using drugs have gone down the drain to that cemetery with untapped potential. And I will have been one of those people, but fortunately, I received help and I learned about harm reduction very early. So let me run through what the principle or the values that harm reduction stand. It's a value that accepts for better or worse that illicit and licit drug use is part of, and it chooses to minimize the harm and the effect that such drug use have on people instead of simply ignoring it, that it doesn't exist, or instead of just condemning people who do this. And also, the second principle is that we need to understand that the issue of drug use is very complex. And in the words of the Mrs. Ekunoke, the former state commandant of NDLEA state, said, drug use is a hydra-headed monster, which means it's a monster that has different heads. You are cutting off this one is coming up. You're cutting off this one is coming up. So it requires collective and concerted effort to be able to be tackled. Now, there is no particular reason why people go into drug use. Some people go into drug use because they wanted to experiment. Some people go into drug use because their friends were pressured. They were pressured by their friends. Some go into drug use because they have one form of illness or the other, and that was prescribed to them. And over time, their body became dependent on these substances. So this complexity is one of the things that makes it very, very difficult sometimes for people to say want to totally abstain from drug use, of which the National Council for Health have recently, agreed that Nigeria should categorize the issue of drug use as a public health emergency. Now, this means that it is going to be treated not as a moral failure, but as a health issue that requires urgent intervention and attention. Now, thirdly, harm reduction tends to establish community, it tends to focus on the quality of the individual's life and look to their well-being before they talk about them ceasing from taking those drugs. So I want to paint a scenario for you. Imagine somebody who has been taking drugs for the past 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. And then all of a sudden, you tell the person to just cut the drugs. The system is already used to it. the whole fiber of their being is reduced. So it makes it very difficult to just cut off hands. And this is what most people don't understand. And that is what harm reduction advocates. It tends to help people reduce the dangerous physical, mental, and even the psychological effect that drugs can cost someone while in the process of being drug-free or abstaining or getting totally, liberated from the issue of drug use. Now, I am proud to say at this point that my elder sister, who is also paying attention now, Anna, really played a very crucial role in helping me to navigate, drug use and even come out to where I am. There was a day I went to a house with one of my cousins who is a military personnel, and I think he did something that annoyed me. So the reaction, if then I was on drugs, I was taking tramadol, codeine, and other substances. The reaction I gave told her that something is wrong. And she didn't react immediately. She just told me that she would like to speak to me, and that was the next day. So when she said she would like to speak to me, she invited me to her office. I came and met her. She told me that as a result of the fact that she has been in a relationship with someone whose brother was involved in drug use, so she could tell some of the signs and symptoms of which that particular thing ended up in the rehab and even the psychiatric, a whole lot of times. She now asked me, I noticed this and this is going on with you. I noticed you are doing this and this. And just that conversation for giving me a space to express myself that yes, life is putting a whole lot of pressure on me, feeling as if my life is not going to be. That conversation helped me. And I opened up to her and I told her, yes, I do take substances. And with this conversation now, I'm going to do my best to cut off it. But you see, once you're already dependent, there's no way you can just cut off, like I earlier mentioned. So harm reduction fourth pillar is something that calls for a non-judgmental or non-coercive. So harm reduction tends to come with a non-judgmental approach, and this will help the person know that these people are not judging me. Therefore, they are giving me an opportunity to become better, and this helps a very long way. So when she called me, she engaged with me. She told me, okay, I noticed this. What is this? Things will work out. Spoke some words of encouragement into me, and I felt good. And I made a determination that I'm going to cut down this thing, if not stop it entirely. And that was my journey of helping myself. But it was very frustrating because there was a lot I didn't know. I didn't know about harm reduction. I was trying to get off the drugs that I've already been used to. And this was a toggle. I had a friend, which my mom, who is listening now, she knows him. I lost my friend, Dixon Nisal, who we call Epic. Consider Epic as a very multi-talented guy. He could do painting, repair electronics, he could do carpentry, he could build, he could do a whole lot of things. But Epic was taking drugs. And I guess my family knew that was why they were not comfortable with our relationship. But every time we want to go to work, he calls us to tag along. Every time we're going to work, we buy tramadol to help us energy to do the work. And the dependence kept on going on. So we lost Epic to a complication of which I believe one of my bosom friends is here too. He can testify. I believe that it's related to drug use. And the loss of my friend, I could remember we were sitting and taking the drug one time, and he told me that he saw himself in the coffin and people were crying all around. And we just laughed about it. Of course, because we were under the influence of substances, we just laughed about it. And fast forward to like a month or two, my friend surely died. And when I held the coffin, taking him to bury, that was when a flash of the whole thing was telling me came. that he saw himself, people crying, and he died. So Eric's death changed my world and started digging into how to get out of drug use and not get swallowed in it. Now, and I started learning and started finding out how to navigate this thing for people who have experienced this. And then I came across a book called Autobiography of Malcolm X. Now, Malcolm X is one of those speakers whose life was highly impacted by drug use at a very early age. His father was a preacher who the white supremacists and the racists then, they put the father, who was a reverend, on the main road, and they used a vehicle to run over him. So those traumatic experiences led him to drug use. He became a gangster. He was with all sorts of deadly drugs, and he was taking cocaine. But something happened, and he was arrested and sent to prison. When he was sent to prison, there was no way he take those same substances again. And then he started experiencing what I call the drug user hell on earth, which is called the withdrawal syndrome. Now, the withdrawal syndrome is one of the things that virtually all drug users are scared of, because once your system is already used to a certain drug and you want to leave it, like say you go a day, 2, 3, 4 without taking it, your system reacts in such a way that you feel like you should kill yourself or you should take your life. One of my friends, Steven, once told me, because he couldn't take codeine for 1 day, he told me that he felt like hanging himself that very night. That is how severe that the issue of addiction, or the issue of dependence, as we call it now, is. And Professor Wakama, the National Technical Working Group of Harm Reduction, who is an expert in helping people who are used to substances, said, consider drug dependence or someone taking drugs as someone who you pour fuel on him and set him on fire when you are trying to take him out of the drugs without necessarily observing harm reduction. Now, one of these pillars of harm reduction is also recognizing that the people who have this experience, like myself, are some of the critical agents that you can use if you want to help the society to stop drug use, or you want to help people to move away from drug use. I am not speaking as a professional, but I can relate more with somebody who has gone through what I've gone through compared to somebody who is just speaking theory or just saying what they have read or just giving you some abstract experience. So when people who use drugs becomes the primary agent of reducing harm of drug use, and it seeks to empower other people who use drugs to share such information, it seems to give them a sense of hope. It seems to give them a sense of encouragement for them to know that they can actually navigate and get out of the scourge of drug use. That is one of the things that harm reduction does. So if the message is preached by someone who has actually experienced it, it goes a very long way. And on this note, I want to really commend the NDA for setting up this space. This 147th edition is very crucial, and kudos to you for putting this together so that we can share our voices and let the world, this is what we have passed through. This is what we have been able to conquer. And this is now this is what we're experiencing now on the other side. I tell you most sincerely that virtually every family in Nigeria has someone who is affected by drug use, whether directly or indirectly. And this is where the crucial role of family comes in, helping people navigate the time. The first place where you start getting stigma is from the family. And sometimes because they don't know better. I can remember whenever I come back and our eyes are very red and all, I can remember how my mom is paying attention. So my mom, I can see the pain. I can see sometimes you need to ask you questions. Why are you looking like this? Why is it? And this, reaction is as a result of the fact they love you and they want you to change. But this that is happening is actually making them feel bad, because you can't sit and watch your son go down the drain, you not do anything. So sometimes They tell you all sorts of things, they insult you, they talk to you in a pleasant way, they react to you in an unpleasant and what have you. And this reaction is what most Nigerian families are doing. They try to stigmatize the person, try to shame the person, they try to make the person feel bad, they try to, say all sorts of things. Some people forcefully take them to rehab. Some people forcefully deny them of basically. Some people forcefully, some people take them to law enforcement officers. The greatest fear we had then was his NBN. Up until I knew what the mandate of the agency is. If we just hear before you say we are already running, because we felt we are here to us. But time we now notice that I really even here to help us. They are here to help us, not to destroy our life. They are going after the people who are making these drugs available. Because if the drugs is not there, there will be nothing to take. Now, that being said, families have to come to the position where they become the major pillars, like mine have done, to helping people come out of drug use. I especially requested that my mom be part of those listening to this, because it means a lot to me that she know that things have changed and things are changing and things can be better. A lot of young men die in silence. A lot of young women die in silence. According to the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime, 1 in 4 drug users is a female. That means if you see 4 drug users, 1 is a female. So imagine our sisters, imagine our nieces, imagine our kids who are doing this without anybody to help them navigate this time. So this is particularly important to me. My sister, whenever we come, unlike my mom, whenever we come with my friend, my late friend, Epic, and Samson Set, whenever we come to her house with when we have already taken some of these substances, what she do, she prepare the noodles. She prepare noodles and then a lot of pepper. Before you finish the noodles, the pepper will burn you so much, the whole thing you are taking clear from your eyes. And after that, she gives us money. Okay, take. So that love, that compassion that shown to me made me to beat my chest and say, I will find a way and get out of this, no matter what. Now, influence of peers is some of the things that make people stay long, because those peers, if you don't change them, you keep mingling with them, you keep going back, and you keep offering, and you keep taking. And then the reason family lose these loved ones who are involved in drug use is because it's the drug users outside that actually welcome them, or they feel welcome around anytime that they come to them. When you go to any junk or any hotspot or any, sometimes you don't even need to have money. You just go there, someone will offer, and they will give you something to take. So that influence actually played a critical role in making sure that the cycle of taking drugs continues over time. From taking 3 pills, we try to bring it down to 2.5. From 2.5, we try to bring it down to 2. But some days you struggle, you can't sleep, you can't even eat. Sometimes you can't even go around and walk and function normally without these drugs in your system. And this is one of the things that has actually has been affecting a lot of people and is still affecting a lot of people. I tell you an incident. The policy in Nigeria as well around issues of drugs is actually changing currently, but the policies, thanks to NDLEA, who are beginning to embrace, they're beginning to embrace global best practices in dealing with drug use, setting up rehabilitation center, even encouraging people to go into patient and what have you, of which the narrative is changing. But youth take drugs, or people take drugs, face a very serious challenge when it comes to the law enforcement. I tell you what, it was in December, myself and my friend who is currently following this space now, we were at Day Sabo, the government day secondary school in Sabo Tasha, Kaduna State, Nigeria. We were passing we were inside the school. That is where a lot of boys go to take drugs. So we bought our own drugs, and then we wanted to go and take it in the room of my late friend, Epic, but we decided to pass through the school. And I told them I wanted to piss myself. I wanted to go to the toilet. So there was no toilet, so it's an open defecation. It's an open defecation. So once I was there, bent down, I just spotted a car entering the gate. I spotted that car. My mind just thought this could be law enforcement. So immediately I really just stood up, wore my trouser, and I just came and met my friends. I was like, let's start going. Remember, there are other guys who were taking drugs on pretty high, lying down on the concrete. So immediately I told them, let's start going. We just took 1, 2, 3 like steps because it was around 8 p.m. thereabout. So there was still darkness. We took like 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Then we just heard like the sound of gunshot. If you move, I shoot. That was an officer standing in front of us. If you move, I shoot. And we were already up and we were already in motion. It was easy for everyone to scamper away. That was how we ran. And then those people who were already high, they came and arrested them. And, they took them away. We were just hearing this person was arrested, that person was arrested, and what have you. And also, sometimes these boys gather to do this not because they want to cause trouble. Sometimes it's because they are trying to escape the reality and the pressures of life. And it's only around their peers that are able to do that. Of which one of those occasions, again, if those officers was to have fired that weapon, either myself or anybody among us will have been gone. And what were we doing? Because of the issue of drugs. So harm reduction tends to bring a more humane approach that these people are human beings. They actually need help and not, not punishment. But again, I want to make it very clear that nobody goes into drug use with the intention that they are going to get addicted or with the intention that they're going to get. They go into it innocently, and before you know, they're already in the waters. So to help navigate, some people feel ashamed to talk about it. Some people feel, all sorts of things. And then families don't really these conversations easily, or they just shrug it away. And this is making a lot of fathers lose their sons, a lot of mothers losing their daughters, a lot of brothers losing their loved ones, because this atmosphere to talk and avenue to speak is not being provided. And this is one of the things I am thankful to my family. So there was an incident also where at Firuru in Sabuntasha, Kaduna, where we were gathered together with other youths. Of course, we were taking drugs, we were gathered together. My late friend was still alive then. And then the police or law enforcement, is most like joint task force, they invaded the place. So when they invaded the place, at first, everybody ran away. And then, that first strike, everybody ran, couldn't catch anybody. But one of the things, illusion about drugs, it makes you feel like that you think you can do and do. The first running, we came back to the same place again. And then they came for the second time, believable to people. People ran and scampered and think they caught some people. And then we so escaped. But then we came back again. And then they gave place for the third time. And there was a river there. Some people jumped into the river and they were already intoxicated. They couldn't swim. And that was how about 7 people drowned. And a son of a very prominent Nigerian also died in that incident. And I think there was a backlash on the police and what have you. So those incidents, imagine I was among some of those people who jumped into that water as a result of substance use. That was because we were trying to find a safe space and haven where we could, sit down and just take drugs and enjoy ourselves, like we always say it is, without recognizing the dangers in it. Now, when it comes to harm reduction, we need to realize that the realities of poverty, the realities of class, the realities of culture, the realities of social isolation, the realities of past trauma, the realities of discrimination, the realities of social inequalities. If just your financial well-being can make you begin to think of taking a substance that will serve as an escape. So because these realities are there, harm reduction helps people to find their footing before they totally abstain from the drugs. So it's not a gospel that tells people don't just do drugs, because some people have already done it. So when you tell them not to, they might agree with you. But on the flip side, they will not be able to stop because their health has already been implicated and they are already dependent on these drugs. So harm reduction helps people to still be taking some of these drugs, but knowing the harm and then cutting it down over time. And harm reduction has a wide range of different services, of which is categorized as harm reduction. There is the needle and syringe program, where drug users who inject drugs are given new needle and syringe so that they don't share needles and syringe, which is one of the things that is responsible for blood diseases. People inject drugs because they share some of these needles. So harm reduction is this needle and syringe program, which is a component of it, helps people to the distribution of needles. It helps people not to share needles and such, not to transmit disease from one body to the other. This is recognized by the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and is still ongoing. And also there is what is called medication-assisted treatment, of which Gombe State is currently the first state in Nigeria to kickstart it. This is a system where you are given methadone, a certain medication that is for people who are dependent on opioids like tramadol, codeine, and other opioid-like substance. When they give you that, it kills the craving of that drug that you are used to. And over time, it helps you get that drug. So it's called medication-assisted treatment, because giving that medication will help you get away from using that drugs. And then the methadone is a replacement, and over time you can even let go of methadone and become free. So these are some systems or services rendered. And then there's the HIV testing, there's the condom distribution, because drug use is associated with risky behavior. When you are under the influence, you can carry out risky behavior without even knowing it. And it is encouraged that condom distribution is carried out so that people who use drugs can protect themselves anytime they are having intercourse, or anytime, you know, they find themselves in a situation that they can't make informed decision. Straight of the components. I also tell another scenario. I attended that school, and as a result of the influence of meeting some who are really deep into it, they introduced some of it. And then, you know, we just started doing it. And then the funny thing is, when that person who gave it to you is gone, and then now you are dependent, you will be left on your own to struggle and fend for yourself, navigate and find your way out of it. This is one of the critical reasons why parents and even loved ones need to draw their loved ones and their words closer to themselves so that they can easily pull up and start, you know, engaging and telling them their pains, telling them their struggle, instead of resorting to drugs to just serve as an escape, which usually doesn't work. I started interacting with the NDLEA whilst serving as a youth corps member in Gombe State, of which I was happy when I was hearing during the news updates that an activity was carried out in Kautu. Now, through the help of a certain officer, Mr. Polisa Emeka Kafo, I was an on-air personality at and I made it a point of duty, because I know how drug use, I know the depth of the experience that people who are addicted to drugs have. So I started inviting the NDLEA to come and talk on our radio show. And every week I call them to come. They come, I interview them, they talk to the public, they tell people, don't do this, don't do that. They encourage people, tell people how to seek help. Unfortunately, their rehabilitation center was opposite the radio station. And I could go there, interact with the officers, interact with people who are going through rehabilitation and help. I was going there, I was publicizing their activity, and then when they have a physical show or physical event, especially to commemorate some of these international days, like we just did on June 26th of International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. I used to dedicate myself as a radio person to serve as the MC of the occasion. That is what we did at Biliri. We did that in Balanga. We did that in Nafada. We did that in Shongom. We did that in Duku. We did that in Gombe and a host of other governments in Gombe State. And now came across an organization, Drug Free and Preventive Healthcare Organization, of which they find what harm reduction is all about. That harm reduction is about people, is about helping people get out of drug use. Why not cutting them off the drug use entirely? So as a result of that, I created Olofusol Media with the sole vision that we're going to be publicizing issues of drug use. We're going to be capturing people's experiences. We're going to be telling people's stories. We're going to let the world know that this is the angle you can take to help your loved ones who are already dependent on drugs, so that they don't get drowned or they don't become part of the statistics. So Olofusol Media is dedicated to such, and this was what brought in the award from the NDLEA, the state commander, Mrs. Egunwoke, Mrs. Rosilva Egunwoke did that, and a host of other officers who gave a thumbs up that yes, we actually deserve this, and I am eternally grateful for this award and this recognition. Harm reduction actually saved me, because harm reduction is love. Harm reduction is kindness.
David, can we wind down now just another 1-2 minutes so that others can ask questions? Thank you.
Okay, I'm actually winding down with this last statement I made. Harm reduction saved me. Harm reduction is about showing love and understanding. It's about showing kindness. It's about putting people. It's not just about me. It's not just about anybody else. It's about us. It's about humanity. And together, collectively, I think we can help people who use drugs come out of it. In wrapping up my statement, a certain old man wanted to change the world, and then tried to do that, couldn't. Then he said he was going to change his station. He tried to change his station, he couldn't. He said he was going to change his state. He tried to change his state, couldn't. He said he's going to try to change his community. He tried to do that, couldn't. He also tried to change his family, couldn't. He now realized that if he can change himself, then he can change his family, then he can change his community, he can change his state, he can change his nation, and eventually he can change the world. Thank you very much, and I will stop here. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. David Moses Olofu is a public health advocate, media producer, and programs officer with the Drug Harm Reduction Advocacy Network Nigeria. He's been speaking for the last let's say like 40 minutes ago. That's awesome. Thank you very much, David, for the time and the energy and bringing in your lived experience to buttress your presentation and your point on harm reduction, as well as the impact of that in drug demand reduction. Thank you very much for your time. Now we have to, for those that may want to make contribution or ask questions, it's time for you to move to the speaker's corner. Please request for the mic, would approve you, and you stay muted until we invite you individually to make your contribution or ask your question. But first, before I start inviting them, those that are already on the speaker's corner, as well as those that are already waiting in our DM, let's quickly acknowledge some of those who are joining this conversation via our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. Thank you for bearing and joining this conversation. Again, would like to appreciate all our compatriots. Some of those we had acknowledged quite a number. Let's quickly seize this opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate more. We have Victoria Uchechi, a regular member of this platform. Thank you. Mohammed Waziri, also a regular compatriot on this platform. We also have Yetunde. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. We also have, apart from Yetunde, we have Ife Akamu. I pray I got that right. Thank you very much. Akitobi Habiba, thank you. Young J, that's at John Sewedo. Thank you very much for joining our conversation today. We also have Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah is a consultant psychiatrist at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital. He joins us via the handle of his non-governmental organization, and that is Mental Health, Excel Mental Health Foundation. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. We also have Hama Amadou Hama. Thank you for joining the conversation today. Abubakar Hassan Ahmad, thank you for being part of the conversation today. Asa, that's at Awo Geu. Thank you for being part of our conversation today. We also have Timothy Makinde. Thank you. Batu Naija. Thank you. Dede Bodu. Thank you. Shidi Unduku. That's my colleague at the MMI Command, Strategic Command in Lagos. Thank you, Shidi, for being part of the conversation today. Mohammed Bafo, a regular member of the platform. Euphemia. Thank you. And Ibrahim Kuru. Thank you. Let's pause it there again. Let's quickly take contributions from our compatriots. First, the way we start. Okay, let's give Dr. James Komolafe the first shot. Dr. James Komolafe, please unmute yourself and let's get your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. What a pleasure hearing David. We almost salute his courage. Please, are you hearing me?
You are very loud and clear. Thank
you.
Yes,
you can. My brother David Olofu, great work you are doing, and thank you so much for the narrative there. I still would love to say that there's nothing as good as prevention because of the several missing links associated with harm reduction and the impact of lived experience narratives, because the journey to drug abuse and substance addiction, just like he said, nobody takes to drug just because he wants to get addicted. Is also, it doesn't apply in harm reduction, because what works for somebody in Kaduna, like he said, may not work for another person in Abuja because of several issues, the comorbidities, environment, ecology, DNA, and all of that. So, what have you done so far in your organization, and what are we going to do as a community to address the issue of the lack of standardization? Very critical. Stigma and negative biases are being handled little by little. And then education part of it too, especially medical education. I think NDLA by department should create a forum to bring that to light so that people will see the merits, the demerits of it, the pros and the cons. And then how do we have access to evidence-based strategies, like I said, in a particular ecosystem may not work for another. Thank you so very much. David?
All right. Thank you very much.
Can relate to. We create forum like in Gombe State, we create an atmosphere where both the law enforcement agents and the people who use drugs come together and then to interact. That sharing of knowledge goes a very long way. And you also identify a gap. There are not a lot of medical information about many drugs in Nigeria. This is a work that will require collective effort of everyone, the NDLA, specifically the media aspect of it. I studied in University of Jos mass communication. What I notice is the media just picks an issue of drugs and just talk about it a little and not really dig into it. Let people know these are the dangers. When you do this, I believe that when people are equipped with the knowledge in terms of this drug can do ABC or can cause ABC, that is the first process of harm reduction. The knowledge. If you are written in Hausa, I'm saying in Hausa, shan giya ko shan kwaya bai da kyau. Zai iya kawo kaza 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 kaza. What I mean is that taking alcohol, taking pills is not good. It can cause this. The person selling guru on the street can read it and know that, oh, these are the effects that this can do to me. So I the environment, meet with people in the environment and ask them what services are they comfortable receiving and how
By the grace of God, I'm a criminologist.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure being here. This is Caleb Initiative for Drug Abuse Awareness. And I want to first of all appreciate the NDLEA for this platform. Uncle Femi, you are doing so much and we appreciate you. Since you came on board, you are doing so much. And you see, the public needs to be aware. The first stage to prevention, just like Dr. James said, the first stage to prevention is awareness. If we increase awareness, inform the public will make decisive decisions to be productive to themselves and the society at large. And I just want to commend you, Mr. David. That was a powerful presentation. Thank you very much, NDLEA. Thank you, Uncle Femi. God bless you. Thank you.
That means a lot to us. Okay, Funshaw Jimo has slipped aside. Let's quickly, that gives us an opportunity to quickly take one or two questions from DM. Or David, you want to say something to that quickly? To Cedar Foundation?
Yes, I want to appreciate them that we should work more closely with the NDLEA and looking at the pedigree of the public relations officer, Mr. Femi, Uncle Femi, like Caleb has rightly called you. You are a senior colleague, and I think having a background in the media can help bring other facets of stakeholders that are needed to champion this cause and give as much awareness as possible while we leave the NDLEA to do the fantastic job they are doing in terms of going after the peddlers. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll continue to expand the scope and the network that you can rest assured. Okay, let's take just one or two from DM now. I believe we have attended to everyone on the space already. Okay, we have Ebon here. That's okay. What can young people do when schools only teach say no to drugs but don't explain what to do if you already say yes? Okay, and then the second question from her is, how does harm reduction help people who aren't ready or able to stop using drugs completely? All right, that's for you. David, quickly go ahead.
Okay, quickly, thank you very much, Dov, to start with this last question. Now, it's already identified as a health challenge, but of a truth, some people who use drugs are not willing to seek help. And this is where it still boils back to pointing out the dangers associated through awareness. Now, if you insist that I'm going to continue taking this thing, and then we bring all the details and let you know, okay, this is what is happening, this is what is happening, this is what. If you actually die as a drug user refusing change, it's your fault. It's not the society's fault. That's just the truth. So we also have to come out to seek for help, you know, where necessary. And for those people, they are specialists, they are psychologists who can help them. There are psychiatrists who can help them, you know, get away from the consistent drug usage, and as such practice harm reduction, not cutting them off it at once. Then to respond to the first question, we talked about schools. Now schools are trying to do the prevention approach, which over time has shown that there's some gaps in it. So this is where we as a media, we are going to schools, taking the message down to schools. We have a flashcard that we have developed that mentioned some of the common drugs in Nigeria, according to the survey by the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. We mentioned the names of those drugs. We mentioned their street name. We mentioned the effect and what it can do to the body. And we just gave a tip on safe choices. So I think we could start incorporating the details of the dangers of drugs into school curriculum, both from the primary to the secondary to the tertiary institution. When we know these things from primary school and the secondary schools, which is where some of these things used to kickstart,
before snowballing to the tertiary institution is going to go a long way. If I had known from primary school, or if I had known from secondary school that this can cause ABC, I would have been able to probably have made a different decision. So I think it should be incorporated into the school curriculum, and then more organization, the NDLEA, it's a collective approach. We need to be going to this school, speaking to students, giving them the real information, breaking it down in simpler terms a layman can understand about the dangers of drugs. I think this is going to help even the youths that have already said yes. If you say yes, you can still say no. That means you have an option. So I think I'll stop here.
All right, thank you very much. Is it the right point for? Okay, let me still take one more question from DM. Okay, I just approved one speaker now. Let's get to. Okay, True North. Let's quickly get your. That's at Gary Guama. Let's quickly get your question or your contribution. That will be the last on the show today. Please go ahead, True North.
Yeah, thank you so much, Femi. I consider myself lucky to be the last contributor. Now, I'm just curious, how do we intend to fight this drug abuse when up to today, I can walk into any pharmacy, any chemist, and buy a drug for as many as I want without anybody taking record of that, or even, you know, getting my identity. My understanding is that the first thing the government should do is to have a record of who is buying what, by whose prescription, at what frequency, and for what reasons. I mean, in the north, people sell drug, on the street. People buy it without any control. What are you doing to ensure that you have a control, a record of what goes where and who buys what at what frequency for what reason? I think that should be the first thing to consider doing in order to reduce these, drug-related cases. I want to know what your plans are. Are we going to see a situation whereby whenever I walk in, purchase a drug, that person will require the prescription first and my identity, having a record that Garim Gomna has bought social drugs, social day, so that the government can trace who is buying what, for what reason, and at what frequency? Are we going to see that in our life? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, dear True North. Let me quickly respond to that. It's not a question for David. I'll tell you sincerely that yes, some of the outlets, maybe pharmacies or patent medicine stores, some of the, it's not all drugs. They are basically the opioids. That those are controlled drugs, and indeed they have a responsibility to demand for doctor's prescription before they sell those prescribed drugs. Those controlled drugs to anyone. And we're also glad that working with other stakeholders, we've been able to get the Pharmacists Council Act law that law passed in 2023, yes, I believe, which controls this kind of thing, and also with stringent conditions and also penalties. All of those things are on, and I'm telling you, the effect may not be felt nationwide of stakeholders involved in all of these processes, talking of PSN, talking of the Pharmacists Council, talking of NAFDAC and the Federal Ministry of Health. So all of these stakeholders are involved in those processes, and I do know that these things are monitored. That is what goes to which company or which pharmacies, all of those records, and we do check that. I can tell you, we do check all of this information to ensure that, and for every standard pharmacy, they have what they call they have a box where some of these documents and the register are located, are kept, and our officers do go in to check this information and these records periodically, and more often than not, that I can tell you. So the process is on, and quite a lot of things are happening in that regard. But then beyond the relevant regulatory and enforcement bodies, again, as members of the public, as stakeholders, wherever you may be, we all have responsibility. If we notice or discover that there are certain elements that are doing the wrong thing, we have a responsibility to also share the information with the relevant authorities so that they can do the right thing. I believe you got the message. You know what exactly I'm saying in that regard. So we appreciate all of this, and again, we appreciate you coming on to lay this beer on this conversation today. Once again, we'd like to appreciate everyone, especially our guest speaker today, that is David Moses Olofu, a public health advocate, media producer, and programs officer with Drug Harm Reduction Advocacy Network Nigeria. He's been speaking with us. He's been with us in the last 2 hours, and we appreciate everyone that has been part of this conversation. Dr. James Komolafe, thank you. Nuruddin Akewusola, that's a colleague in the media there. Thank you, Nuruddin. Thank you. Through North Cedar Foundation, Mohammed Waziri, thank you. Funshojimo, thank you. John Ogunjimi, thank you. Ibrahim Kuru, thank you. Everyone that has been a part of this, including all our compatriots on Facebook and on our YouTube channel, as well as those that have joined us from across the world, other parts of Africa, Europe, America, Asia, Middle East. We appreciate everyone. And I must not forget my colleagues on this side, Rita, Musa, Francis, and the rest of you guys. I appreciate everything. I cannot mention everybody, but then just know that your contribution is well appreciated. Once again, we appreciate our guest speaker today, that is David Moses Olofu. Thank you for what you have done. That is sharing your perspectives with passion, bringing in your lived experience. That I can see how that has connected with a lot of people. We'll be glad to see you again and going ahead, working.
Them say cocaine now don't be lala. No, no. On the streets of Echo, they say cocoa don't become the lala. No, no. So many destiny waste away for the lala. No, no. Everyday men's they waste taking the lala. No, no. Whenever I close my eyes, I go remember. Water run out my eye when I remember. Say the last time when we see now for December. When you tell me say no cocaine, I be the lala. Them say cocaine now don't be lala. No, no. On the streets of Echo, they say cocoa don't become the lala. No, no. So many destiny waste away for the lala. No, no. Everyday men's they waste taking the lala. No, no. I beg, say no to lala, say no to banku, say no to Igbeshi, say no to drugs.